Welcome to the ultimate clash of titans. Brace yourselves for impact.
Welcome back to the 8 and 88 podcast. I'm Dwayne, and I'm here with my co-host Hank. Today we are talking about the silver and blue and diving straight into the thick of training camp. We're breaking down the team's starting units and roster battles. Let me tell you, that joint practice against the New Orleans Saints was the ultimate litmus test, and it unfortunately devolved into a chaotic, penalty-ridden brawl.
You aren't kidding, Dwayne. The high 70-degree Southern California heat really mirrored the boiling tempers on the field. Things got so undisciplined that both coaching staffs actively considered canceling the practice entirely. The most violent fight started when rookie cornerback Kalen Carson punched Saints receiver Brock Rechsteiner during a contested rep and yanked him to the ground by the face mask. Rechsteiner, who happens to be the son of WWE Hall of Famer Scott Steiner, retaliated by lifting Carson and executing a full German suplex onto the turf.
What are you doing out there? Inside the star.
This is where discipline dies.
That maneuver ignited a massive brawl that completely derailed the situational drills. We also saw second-year edge rusher Donovan Ezirawaku lose his composure and get ejected for throwing multiple punches in a massive team-wide scrum. This was a deeply concerning development because it marked his second ejection of camp for the exact same offense. The heat and intensity even caused Saints receiver Ronnie Bell to collapse from heat exhaustion, forcing him to be carted off without his jersey and shoulder pads.
Coach Brian Schottenheimer was furious because he was forced to spend the afternoon playing referee. He called the practice sloppy and delivered a stern, lengthy lecture on mental focus, which was preceded by post-practice conditioning sprints initiated voluntarily by Dak Prescott and DeMarvion Overshown. But when they were actually playing football, the Dallas offense performed well and accomplished more against the New Orleans defense, avoiding the fighting on the other side of the field.
Absolutely. Let's look at the standouts. Defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, fresh off his 3-year, $105 million extension, was virtually unblockable, racking up 4 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack. Alongside Kenny Clark, the Cowboys finally have an elite interior defensive duo that completely neutralized the rushing attack. We also saw George Pickens dominate the red zone, utilizing his elite length and body control while catching a back shoulder throw against Emmanuel Forbes. Even Rashawn Gary and tight ends Jake Ferguson and Brevin Spann-Ford had exceptional early performances.
But on the flip side, some guys really struggled with the intensity and schematic challenges. Let's pull up the first graphic from the document to illustrate the liabilities. We know previous defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus ran a static cover 3 scheme in 2025. It was predictable and historically bad, allowing over 30 points and 251.5 passing yards per game. Let's visually break down how Parker's new system manufactures advantages through deception and geometry. The pre-snap disguise. The Cowboys show a 2-high safety shell utilizing cover 4, cover 6, or cover 7 match principles. The hesitation. Safeties Caleb Downs and Malik Hooker do not rotate until the snap, and cornerbacks press the high whether they are in man or zone. This forces the quarterback to hesitate for a split second. The trap simulated pressure. Edge rushers like Sam Williams, Malachi Lawrence, or Jayshawn Barham drop unexpectedly into underneath zone coverage. The strike. At the same time, undersized, 220-pound Mike linebacker DeMarvion Overshown blitzes the A or B gap as a lethal weak side blitzer. The result: the offensive line's blocking rules are confused, frequently resulting in unblocked rushers and a collapsed pocket.
That's a brilliant tactical adjustment. However, our offensive foundation is terrifyingly brittle. Dak Prescott's elite processing speed and remarkably low pressure to sack rate of 13.3% are the only things masking the fact that the offensive tackles are massive liabilities. When the run stalls, defenses pin their ears back and collapse the edges before deeper routes can develop.
The absolute nadir of this roster is right tackle Terence Steele. Let's break down exactly why his mechanics are failing. The trigger. He lacks the foot speed and lateral agility required to seal the edge against premier speed rushers. The overcompensation. In response, he attempts to kick back fast enough to cut off the outside arc. The breakdown. This overcompensation compromises his base and significantly raises his pad level. The result, his chest is left completely exposed, allowing defensive ends to dismantle his block with a devastating bull
Let's
rush.
analyze Terence Steele's contract. A pre-June 1st cut carries a heavy dead cap hit. Waiting until after June 1st saves $14 million. This chart shows the clear advantage.
He cannot be trusted in quote-unquote true pass sets without tight ends and running backs chipping to assist him. Now, there's a mainstream narrative that Jerry Jones handing Steele an $86.8 million extension means the Cowboys are paralyzed by a 2026 salary cap crisis. But looking at the document, this panic is largely manufactured. Steele's contract features a massive escape
Let's
hatch.
analyze Terence Steele's contract. A pre-June 1st cut carries a heavy dead cap hit. Waiting until after June 1st saves $14 million. This chart shows the clear advantage.
As the table shows, designating Steele as a post-June 1st cut frees up a massive $14 million in pure salary cap savings with a minimal dead cap hit of just $4.125 million. Combined with other structural moves, they could easily generate between $45 million and $60 million in workable space to fund the team's elite receiving core. The brutally honest truth is that Steele is holding a high-powered offense hostage, and the front office is meticulously laying the groundwork to cut him.
Rush. That wraps up our deep dive into the Oxnard Crucible. The team is loaded with top-tier talent and innovative coaching, but their success hinges entirely on Dak Prescott operating under pressure and the coaches scheming around that right edge liability.
The groundwork to cut him. I'm going to say this right out of the gate, and I honestly do not care whose fucking feelings it hurts. The mainstream media's reaction to what happened in Oxnard on Tuesday is exactly why football analysis has gotten soft as a baby's ass. Yeah, I said it. The joint practice brawls between Dallas and New Orleans weren't a red flag. They are the exact cultural exorcism this franchise has desperately needed for a decade. Let's tell the truth for a second. For years, the Dallas Cowboys have been soft as baby shit. They have been pushed around, bullied, and had their asses handed to them in the trenches and in joint camps by teams like the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. They got used to being pushed around, putting their heads down, and walking away like bitches. Look at George Kittle. The guy literally paraded around on national television wearing an F Dallas shirt under his jersey. You think Kittle pulls some shit like that if he had a shred of fear that a Dallas defender was going to knock his fucking teeth out on the next snap? Hell no! He did it because he knew there would be zero physical consequences. He knew he could bully the silver and blue without a receipt. What about Demetrius Rainey? Remember him? During a team scrimmage, Rams center Rainey executed a low-cut block on Cowboys linebacker Andrew Gatchkar. You think he would have pulled that bullshit this year? No, because he would have gotten his ass whooped. That weak shit era, it died on Tuesday. We saw at least 6 separate fights against the Saints. When New Orleans center Eric McCoy tossed a Dallas helmet into the California sky, Dallas didn't just walk away. There was a price to pay, and that motherfucker was going to fucking pay it. When Brock Rechsteiner dropped a literal German suplex on a Cowboys defender, Dallas didn't look to the referees. They responded by handing out ass kickings. Yeah, Donovan Ezeruaku got tossed for the second time this camp, but that was because he was throwing hands to protect his guys. When Brian Schottenheimer got to the podium, he didn't give some sanitized corporate PR apology. He looked right at the cameras and said, "Right now, I'm in charge of Fight Club, and we're not going to take shit from anybody." That wasn't just coach speak. That was an eviction notice to the soft culture that used to let guys like Kittle disrespect the star. You don't survive trench warfare by playing nice. If this is the violent, unapologetic edge Schottenheimer and Parker are bringing to the sideline, then sign me the fuck up. The math and the defensive alignments get you to the playoffs, but a little bit of Oxnard Fight Club is what stops you from getting bullied in January. If the rest of the league has a fucking problem with it, they can step the fuck up next. This year, you fuck around and you're gonna find out. I said what the fuck I said. Now it is time for Hank's Hall of Fame Minute.
Financial reality. Welcome to Hank's Hall of Fame Minute. Dwayne and I believe in giving people their just due, whether positive or negative. Today we are talking about the most prolific player that ever laced up a pair of basketball shoes, Michael Jordan. Born on the 17th of February 1963, Jordan's journey to greatness started at North Carolina. Position, guard. Height and weight, 6'6", 195 pounds. Years active, 1981 to 1984. NCAA tournament record, 8-2. Over 3 seasons, he led the Tar Heels to an incredible 88-13 overall record. What's wild is the kind of prospect he was coming out of high school. Ken Mink's top 100 newspaper rankings actually had him 4th in the country behind Adrian Branch, Stuart Gray, and Bobby Lee Hurt, and just 1 single spot ahead of Patrick Ewing. Keep in mind, the Tar Heels had only landed 6 McDonald's All-Americans in history before he enrolled. Look at how his game evolved year over year on the stat sheet. The accolades piled up fast. He was the 1982 National Champion and Freshman All-American, the 1984 Consensus National Player of the Year, and was named the #1 male athlete in ACC history. But his legendary NBA run was famously interrupted by his first retirement and a stint in Major League Baseball from 1993 to 1995. On the 6th of October 1993, he announced he was stepping away because he lost his desire to play. He later revealed that the devastating murder of his father, James Jordan Sr., on the 23rd of July 1993, heavily shaped that decision. But when he was on the basketball court between 1983 and 2003, his numbers were mythical. During his historic 1990s run, he dominated both sides of the floor simultaneously. Look at this 5-year stretch of pure two-way dominance. It's no surprise his legacy is cemented across the world. Take a look at his induction resume. From Wilmington to Chicago to the global stage, Michael Jordan earned every bit of his spot in the Hall of Fame. Some players build a legacy, but Michael Jordan built an empire. And that concludes this week's induction into Hank's Hall of Fame. Good night, folks.
The refrigerator, the door's closed, the lights out, the eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard, and the Jell-O's jiggling.